everyone, this is Kedra with NyxMoonOracle, and today I'm bringing you a channeled messages from Michael Jackson Oracle reading. So I'm going to tap into Michael's energy, ask some questions, and see what Michael wants to have come through. I have saged and blessed and protected everything beforehand. I have my circlet on, ready to go. I don't have my normal moon that I usually have, but Michael actually wanted this one. This was communicated today that Michael didn't want the moon. Michael wanted this actual new cloth that I got last week. So that's what I did. It's not my usual, but I wanted to make Michael comfortable. So if you like this video, at the end of watching it, please click like. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please comment below who you'd like me to channel. And please click like and subscribe for future readings. I do all kinds of tarot readings, oracle readings, past life, twin flame, mediumship. So I'm really excited about this because Michael has been someone really special to me as far back as I can remember. Michael's innocence, Michael's loving nature, childlike nature. A lot of people don't understand Michael in regards to why he loved children so much, but I can. I completely get it. I love children. I love playing with children. My stepdaughters and I've had children in my life growing up. Even as a teenager, I would have my relatives with their daughters and sons come into my life, sleep over with me, play. It's just because I enjoyed them so much. And there's something about children. They're so innocent and beautiful, and you just have to have a certain kind of heart. And Michael had that kind of heart, and I recognized that in him throughout his whole life, and it really pained me greatly to see him being ridiculed, accused, and it was very hard because people don't know that a little bit about me. When I was in 3rd grade, I died, clinically dead, had an out-of-body experience, and then the world changed for me. What the world was like before was completely different. I could see things before they happened. I could see energies, feel energies. I could see things before they happened. I could sense things in people. I can see auras. I don't know if I've said that already, but it enhanced life in a different way because I guess the veil was thin. So I guess I can see Michael more clearly than a lot of people that are really in the 3D world and very in ego, fear-based energy. And Michael was a kind soul with a world that was not only racist, but would attack anything different and loving. And it didn't fit into what corporate business America wanted. So, and not even just that, just really religious sects as well. There was just so little compassion for him. But yet, at the same time, those of us who loved him and felt him and knew him we saw it. We had tremendous and always unending love and compassion for him. And I still do. I still have my Michael Jackson dolls. I even ordered a new Michael Jackson doll a few weeks ago because I do art transformations on dolls, and I'm going to bring my dolls to life in different parts of his evolution in life. I'm not an obsessed fan. I know very little about his life. I was really touched by his energy, his loving nature, his kindness, his wonderment, his magic, the way he danced, the way he made music, the way what he put out to everyone. And I was amazed with that. And I've loved him through my whole life, and I always will. He's just that kind of person. So with that said, I'm going to start tapping into some energies from Michael, getting some messages from Michael, words, anything that Michael wants to bring through, plus some questions I want to ask, plus questions I've looked around on online on message boards, the Michael Jackson message boards. The question actually is, if you were able to ask Michael Jackson something, what would you ask him? And I picked some that I felt Michael would be comfortable answering, as well as what I'd be comfortable asking, because I do respect Michael's privacy tremendously. So with that said, I'm going to put a timestamp below because I did talk for a little while before the reading, but I hope you enjoy it because I know if you're watching this, you probably love Michael like I do. Or at least maybe you're just coming onto the scene of loving Michael Jackson and you've heard polarizing opinions of him and polarizing news, and maybe this can help you shed some light on who Michael was in this lifetime. And I will have messages at the end for those who love him, messages for the world, and messages for the haters, and message for myself. I would like Michael to leave me with a message as we end this reading. So let's get it started. I'm going to start off with some energies that Michael wants to bring out. And I do shuffle on camera for those of you that never have seen my videos before. This is a really big deck, so I'm just going to flip it up a couple of times and then reach in. I knew this was going to come out before it even came out. Thank you, Michael. Michael, give me some energies, some topics you'd like to talk about. I saw these cards beforehand. I saw what was going to come out beforehand. That's amazing to me. I know it happens, but it always still amazes me. Oh, I saw wow, that's incredible. I was guided to this deck. I got it at Barnes & Noble, and I was guided to this deck for some reason, and I'm glad I did, even though they're larger than normal cards. Like, I mean, there's a huge difference, and for my hands, it's really different. But I was drawn to this deck last minute by Michael because I was meditating with Michael this morning. And as I was shuffling, you know, looking through the cards, because that's a new deck, I was looking through the cards and shuffling, and I knew these three were going to come out. Michael was guiding me to each one of these. Child, pathways, and whip. I feel like what Michael is saying, you know, people didn't understand the pathways that I took in life. They didn't understand that I went to the beat of my own drum, the love that I had for children. I wasn't given the love as a child that I wanted. So I tried to do that with children. I didn't get to be that loved child. I was a workhorse. I was a means to an end. I was treated like a slave. I was treated like a workhorse, whipped. You do as you're told. I'm hearing you do as you're told, boy. You do as you're told. And that's how he felt his entire childhood. And I'm getting as he grew through his life. Nobody understood why he was the way he was. With his music, he could be free. He could create this magical life that he wanted. He continued, Michael's saying he continued this abuse and neglect that he felt to himself. It was ingrained in him that he had to achieve perfection. He had to achieve greatness, because he was always living up to what his mind was saying in his head. You're not good enough. You're ugly. You're nothing. So he carried on the abuse to himself. He said he didn't take the right pathway to get help because he didn't trust anyone to actually help him. He didn't trust that it wouldn't be leaked all over the place. Every bit of information that he gave to a doctor or a psychologist or a therapist, that he thought that it would be leaked out. He had no one to talk to. And his only therapy was seclusion, his music, creativity, making sure that every child he came in contact with was loved, because that helped him be a child. Again, he could vicariously live through these children. And that's when he was his happiest, as I'm hearing, was the music. And making sure that children felt safe, loved, and were given things very generously. This includes his own children as well. I'm hearing that for Michael, one of his pathways to fame was the music, but also dancing. But he said just the dancing, he said because of his condition, dancing felt like he had to really force himself through pain to dance. But he knew it's what he had to do to achieve that greatness in his head. He had to be the greatest of all time, so that his father would see him as the greatest of all time. It was never about Michael. He's saying it was never about Michael wanting to be the greatest of all time. It was wanting to be the greatest of all time for his father. How did that make you feel, Michael? How did this make you feel? How did you feel about this? How did you feel about this? Thank you for these messages. How did you feel about this, Michael? How did you feel about this? You can bring out however many you want to. Wow. I feel like Michael's saying, well, I felt like I had to do this for my dad. It was always there. But because of my talent, my music, my fame, I was able to do a lot of things I couldn't do before. I was able to meet a lot of people that I couldn't meet before. So it was bittersweet. I could help people. I could help children. I could bring joy to children. I could bring joy to others. And I knew my fans loved me. And that helped bring balance to my mind, is all of the demons that I had in my mind. All of the demons that I had in my mind. When I thought of my fans and the people who genuinely loved me, it made a difference. It balanced it out. It was bittersweet that I was given this gift of love from so many people, and I loved it. I loved my fans. I'm hearing, I love you. I love you. I love you. You're such a gift. Thank you for your love. You were all my gifts. You brought me peace. You brought balance to this situation that I would be so complacent in. I was so used to, sorry everyone, my neighborhood garbage truck's coming through. I'm hearing that he was so used to being in this shadow, in this bubble of what his father had projected onto him. And the thoughts. And then knowing that there were people out there just like his father that called him names, made fun of the way he looked. They were doing the same things and attacking and threatening. They were attacking him just like his father. And he would sit in complacency. But it was the fans who brought the balance, because he was so used to what his father did, and the things, even though he was used to it, it didn't feel good. He didn't like when the media, the paparazzi, the headlines, the accusers, just the people that lied. He wanted it to go away. He wanted to shield himself from it. So he just kind of let it lie, but he would bring things out in music. When he needed to say something, he would say something. Rarely would he say something publicly, unless he needed to, he said. But he would say it in music. But he wanted to say more, I'm hearing. He wanted to say so much more when he was creating the thoughts that came out. He wanted to say so much more. But it was that fear that kept him status quo, that complacency. This is my life. This is what I can communicate. This is what I can't communicate. Joe will be mad. The media will be mad. It was like he was really... It was like cancel culture before there was cancel culture. Even though, I mean, they were just wanting to cancel Michael for any reason. And he did not understand that. He did not understand. All he wanted to do was make music and create and live a life and have love. And the love that he got from the fans was ultimately what balanced it out. It's what drove him to be the greatest of all time. It was his gift back to those who loved him, because he saw everyone that loved him and respected him and as gifts. And this time on earth was bittersweet, because he had so many haters, so many people breaking his heart in this life. But he was able to do a lot by creating and giving back to children and creating music and the fans. Michael, what words do you have? What words would you like to say regarding this? Any words would you like to say? What would you like to say? What would you like to say, Michael? You can say whatever you want here at Safe. What would you like to say? I feel Michael is wanting to know, for those of you that love him, do you still feel my presence? I'm with you. I'm here. I'm energetically, my music's here. I left that legacy for you. You were a gift to me. You were a gift to me, and I love you. And I left my music and my energy for you because I love you. You were my gifts. I didn't know how to comfort you. This is Michael with this complacency. Michael did not know how to comfort himself. There was so much self-loathing, Michael says. Just so much self-loathing that was just in this bubble. He had hatred and judgment coming from all sides, except from his fans, those who loved him. He did not know how to comfort himself. The only thing that Michael could do was create for us. It was his way of giving back, and to make sure that children felt loved, appreciated, safe, important is what he's saying, important and loved, because that's what it's about, is love. He had nothing but pure love because he didn't feel it. I'm seeing his mother's face though. He felt it from his mother, but he did not know how to comfort himself. He did not know how to soothe himself going forward, because it was like his body was constantly flooded with adrenaline from attacks. Like every day it was something new. He really did not know how to comfort himself except through creation and making music. I'm having crows swarm all around me right now, so if you hear them, and they're kind of pecking at my window, so you may have some weird sounds going on right now. I think I'm going to get one more, if you want, Michael. If you want. For any of you that have prayed to Michael, that talked to Michael, in fact, I did today, a few times this week, Michael's saying, I hear you. I hear you. I heard you the day I died. I heard you throughout this whole time. If anything came up where you felt that I was being attacked, I heard you defending me. And he says, I love you. You defended me. You were offended for me, and you defended me. And I heard you. And I thank you. And I love you. Thank you, Michael. I could literally just end the reading on that, because it pretty much answered certain things that I wanted to answer. And now I'm going to ask, Michael, why do you think that people attacked you? Why do you think people lied and attacked you? What do you think? Why do you think that so many lied and attacked you? Why do you think so many lied and attacked you during your life as Michael Jackson? There aren't any words on these cards. I just go with the messages, the visions I'm seeing, and the messages Michael's giving me. Why do you think people lied and hurt you? I wasn't going to take these, but I am going to. Okay. And then this one was on the bottom. I'm definitely going to take that one. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I cut this deck in half just a few minutes ago, and then I sat it down. And Irresponsible was on the bottom of the deck, and then a front-facing card. So that's the end of that message. Irresponsible, unreliable, reckless, and careless. And then on the other bottom is complacency again. Holy shit. This is why, what Michael's bringing me are messages why. Okay. So this is why Michael feels like he was lied about. He was attacked. He said, first of all, people were irresponsible. Irresponsible journalism, making money, using unreliable sources which were paid or wanted to be paid or compensated, reckless, and they just didn't care. It was irresponsible behavior. And then people just became complacent with it, that complacency card. He became complacent with the abuse and the attacks, and the media and people and accusers and users, abusers became a little too comfortable and complacent with harming him, attacking him, putting him in the tabloids, lying. They became complacent. And law of attraction came up. Michael is owning that this came to his doorstep because of fear. It was because of fear. People spoke lies and created fake narratives, fake stories about Michael because he kept to himself so much. But Michael says, look, I know now, because of where I am now, that I attracted this. Why did I attract this? Because I did not have self-love. I spoke things to myself that were mean. I spoke things that were cruel to myself. I spoke and felt fear instead of shielding myself from it, instead of loving myself and nurturing myself and accepting myself as I am. I brought that to myself. I attracted all of that negativity to myself because negativity was running through me with fear, self-loathing, unacceptance of me. I knew who I was, but my physical body, because of what my father told me, made me feel like less than. And the only way I felt like something was creating, was my fans, was giving back, was loving. But I loved so much, the one person that I did not love was me. And I know that if I had put love into myself first, none of this would have happened. Not to this magnitude, he said. The magnitude was unreal, and it's still going on, but that's because he's not here to defend himself. Spirit and Michael are saying that's just people with egos gold digging. Because they, and now we're going to go back to this, because they know, because the media and everyone are just too comfortable making Michael into whatever phantom that they want. They can tell whatever story that they want. He's not here. He can't defend it. But he knows he brought it to his door by not loving himself, being too comfortable with people talking bad about him, with people, with wanting to run away from it all, I'm hearing too, just wanting it to go away. Almost like I'm hearing hiding under the covers, pulling a blanket over his head. But it didn't go away, it just made it louder. And then more fear came, more anger came, more sadness came. And that the reason why people are doing this is they're irresponsible, they're too comfortable, and they're gold digging. I'm hearing for some of these people, they're wanting somebody else's treasure, something that somebody else has grown, this egg. They want that part of the egg. They feel like they deserve that part of the egg. They need it. I did nothing wrong. This person did something wrong, and I want that egg. I want that. I deserve that. This person's not here anymore, so I'm going to grab some of that egg because I feel like I deserve it. But I'm innocent. I'm innocent. There are a lot of hands in this pot. There are a lot of hands in this picture. But all they really want is to get that egg. That's a driving force in all of this. Everybody wanted a part of Michael's egg without looking dirty, without looking like They're guilty. And I feel like Michael's saying, and this stems from, I feel like, brainwashing from mother figures, parental figures. I'm also hearing that some of these people are just so, some of these people were not nurtured by their parents. Their parents were in their ear. The children were torn. That these people were torn. They were in, and then as they grew older, they were just enmeshed in what the parents were telling them to do. I'm getting from Michael that they were just in their ear, just telling them things. Like, you deserve, like putting these kids so far. It's like, what I'm getting from Michael is like that whole stage mom stigma, that whole, like those moms that are really more about winning the contests, and that their kids are perfect, and that they have to be perfect, and that they deserve all this stuff, and they're not wrong. And it's like the light is shining on the parent. Like the kid's success, the kid's recognition is shining on the parent. I'm hearing he saw a lot of that. And it just festered into these children that they were, they deserved this egg. Somebody else's egg. The parents felt like they deserved. The media felt like they deserved. I'm hearing this is just unhealthy circles of cycles and circles of abuse and attachment and enmeshment, Michael says. It left the kids alone, not really knowing. Michael and Spirit are saying that I recognize this because this is the way I was treated. These kids that are grown and accusing, or that have accused, are doing what the parents said. Remember, Michael's pointing me back to this right here. The whip. They have to do what the parents say. And then they have to grow up and keep doing it, because if the parent's living, they're still in their ear. You deserve this. You do this. You did that. Let's do this. Let's get part of that egg. They're making them do this. They're making them do this for success and praise and recognition. They're using these children as workhorses for their own recognition, for their own part of the egg, for their own attention. And it leaves these children feeling like they have to do it. And then they start believing it. And then they can do one of two things. They go down pathways that may not be the best for them because they've been abused. Michael says, I identify with that. I'm not there anymore. I hold no ill will. I see what's going on. The only people that I feel bad for are the people that love me. And these children that have grown up whipped by their parents into submission, in that enmeshment. Feeling like they have to do anything to get that egg, to get that recognition, to get that success, to get that book deal, to get that, that piece of the Michael pie. They've went down some really bad pathways, and that's because they didn't have a normal childhood. And he recognizes that. Michael recognizes that tremendously. He actually feels sorry for these, especially these new accusers that have come out in the last couple of years, in the last few years. He actually feels sorry for them because he knows that what they went through. He lived it. They didn't have a normal childhood. They were workhorses. They did what mommy and daddy, or just mommy or just daddy, told them to. And he recognizes it. It leaves them isolated, alone, becoming complacent, just like he did. They don't know how to comfort themselves either, just like he didn't. He hears what's going on. He knows. Thank you, Michael. Oh, and as for the media, this one I saved, it's running with the story. It's anything they can fly with, get away with. Anything they can fly with, get away with, they run with it. Carrying a story, because somebody will believe it. Somebody wants to believe it, because it became normal, and because it's irresponsible journalism. People run with it. Yep. Thank you, Michael. Very powerful. Thank you. Michael, what was the hardest part for you living as Michael Jackson? What was the hardest part living as Michael Jackson? What was the hardest part living on this earth as Michael Jackson? What was the hardest part for you? What was the hardest part for you, Michael? What's the hardest part about living as Michael Jackson on this earth? Balance again came out. Justice. What else, Michael? Communication. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to get one more. 2 wanted to come out. Michael, that's fine. I'm feeling that, Michael, it goes to that balance earlier that we saw. Thank you, Michael, for these messages. Thank you, Spirit. It goes to, I never was able to, it was always trying to balance everything, balance my time, my energy, the media, the attacks. Every time I saw a newspaper, it was like trying to balance my career and what I wanted to do and what I loved to do and what I loved doing for my fans with everything else that I had to deal with, the court, the cases, the settlements, that I was apologizing for things and asking people wanting, like demanding apologies from me, apologizing for things that I didn't do, wanting apologies, wanting, I wanted an apology from my dad and I wanted forgiveness, but I could not forgive myself. I couldn't forgive Joe. Joe was in my head. It was hard that I couldn't communicate like a normal person because everything I said was taken out of context or looked at in a certain way. I was never really able to harvest the good things in life. I really didn't get to enjoy them. I didn't get to rest and relax because I was always attacked, always something written about me. I felt like I felt alone. No matter where I was in the world, I really couldn't truly be my authentic self because nobody would have liked it. People wanted apologies from me. People wanted a pound of flesh, my pound of flesh, a pound of flesh, any chance they could get. They clawed at me. They wanted apologies. They demanded apologies. They demanded apologies through settlements and money. They demanded that I get them things, or they would go to the media. I didn't know how to balance it out. I didn't understand this. I thought I was paying the price for something I did in a former life. What did I do? I'd ask for forgiveness so that it would stop. I distanced myself from the world and people judged me, but they didn't know I distanced myself so that I could breathe, so that I could create, so that I could submerge myself in creation to forget the attacks, the injustice. I needed to retreat and distance, but it just made me more of a target. Like I was a freak or an alien. That I couldn't have genuine friendships because I knew things would be leaked. That somehow I felt that it would end up coming full circle. Like I couldn't speak genuinely. Only he's bringing Brooke Shields into my head. He's bringing Brooke Shields, and that was the closest thing to a genuine friendship that he had. But even then, it wasn't truly authentic. Not as they got older, I'm hearing. And then as they got older, more distance was put between them because it was so much that Michael had to deal with. Michael's saying I didn't want to bring her in because any person that I had communication with was a target. A target or a potential attacker. That's what he said. That I never got to fully develop and harvest the bounties of real friendship. I feel like he's asking his fans currently I apologize to you, and please forgive me for not being strong enough. It took a lot out of me. Some of you wonder why it took long between each album release, or why some things are, because I needed time. I had so much in my head and so much going on that, and I was such a perfectionist and so hard on myself that I took the time, and I asked for your forgiveness. I ask for your forgiveness, and I'm apologizing to you for not being strong enough. I medicated my pain away. I medicated my abuse. I medicated the pain from the media and what I perceived so many people around the world felt for me. I medicated because my body was riddled in pain. I should have done things differently, he's saying. I should have communicated and trusted someone, something to help me. But I trusted the wrong people. And my money and influence gave me medication that took me away from you. Permanently. Michael, what would you have done differently? What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently, Michael? What would you have done differently if you could go back? Is there anything you would have done differently? Wow. Thank you, Michael. One more. What would you have done differently? Okay. Thank you, Michael. This was on the bottom of the deck. Michael's saying, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would be stronger. I would be stronger and put an end to the smoke and mirrors. That 1 and 9 is 10. I'd put an end to the smoke and mirrors. I wouldn't let people get away with it at all. Back then, people would let tabloids and things run wild. He said, I knowing what I know now, I would have put an end to it. I would have spoke up. I would have been stronger with myself, stronger to my father, stronger to walk away from things, stronger to walk away from thought patterns, walk away from self-loathing behavior. I would have really put energy into loving myself, accepting myself, and really unlocking that self-love for myself, because I did not have it. I did not feel deserving because of the smoke and mirrors, the judgments, the bullshit, the deceptions that were ingrained into my head growing up and then exploded when I was a teenager and an adult. I would have been stronger. I would have walked away. I would have loved myself, like really loved myself. Cut out anything that, put an end to anything that didn't serve me or my highest good or my family's highest good. I would have loved myself. I would have unlocked that love and just uncaged it, and really had gratitude for every bit of experience that I had, but every breath I took, the face in the mirror. Gratitude for everyone that loved me and for my accomplishments. Gratitude for what I have done, my gifts, for me, because I did not love me. I did not love me. I couldn't even stand to look in the mirror because of the smoke and mirrors. I was ugly. I was no good. I wasn't worthy. I'd walk away from that. And I would have gratitude for me. Gratitude for everything, every experience. I would use that love and that strength to empower me. I'm hearing, imagine what I could have done if I had only loved myself and knew that I was my own muse. Loving myself, feeling full, whole, and complete. Putting that 1 and 3 is 4 and 4, that love, that appreciation into myself, that acceptance that my cup of love is full and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm having this amazing life experience in this body that's called Michael Jackson. And I'm grateful for every minute of it. And I am cutting out and walking away from anyone who tries to use me, abuse me, harm me, take from me, or tell me that I'm not good enough. Because I am great and full and complete as I am. That's what I would have done differently. I would have been my muse. I would let my soul be my muse. That I was wonderful with who I was. I was wonderful with my skin condition. I was wonderful with my nose. I was wonderful with my hair. I was wonderful as Michael. That's what I would do different. That I was already my own treasure. That I didn't need to seek gold or expensive things to make me happy. Those were just band-aids. It's all about love. And I should have started with myself. That's what I would do different. Love myself first. Put an end to things immediately. Commanding the strength of what I deserve so that others knew they could not speak about me that way. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. Michael, what did give you strength and comfort? What gave you strength and comfort in this life? I know it was hard, but I know there had to be times that you had comfort. What are some good memories that you have? What are some good memories that you have that gave you strength and comfort? One more please, Michael. What gave you joy in this world? Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna have to put these cards up. I thought they were here. Okay, Michael says that what gave him comfort in this life was simply changing of the seasons. He loved Christmas. When the leaves turned, he loved looking out. He loved being out when he could. Just the change of the seasons. He really loved it. He's saying he really liked being on the road and being with the fans. The journey with the fans, the people who loved him, performing, he loved it. Like, he loved every minute of it. He loved it every time. This change of the season also goes to each album, each tour. It was a different experience this time. He saw fans growing up. He saw new fans coming in with every change of his season, his creative aspect. He loved it. He loved that process, that journey. He loved creating music and creating something different each time. And he loved that journey. He loved creating for us. He really loved it. I heard him say, I really did, in his voice. Like, sometimes he's surprised I can hear him. I really did. I'm also hearing he loved, when he was, I'm hearing in a home, like a skyrise home, because he felt like he was above. Even though he loved Neverland, at a certain point in time, he felt like he couldn't go there and be comfortable anymore. He felt like he couldn't be comforted there anymore. So it was his home in the sky. It was a high home where he could look out. He could see the birds. He felt high. He felt safer when he was high. Above, not high like stone, but high above, where he could look out windows and just look down. He felt safer. And his dear friend. I feel like this is also Brooke Shields. I feel like this is also Elizabeth Taylor. I feel like this is us, the fans. The ones who really loved him. But I'm really feeling this is Brooke Shields. I feel like it's all of us because all of these points on the deer. But the main focus, we're all important to him and he loves us all, this journey. He loves us all, but it's her. This is Brooke Shields. His dear friend. Those are the memories that comforted him, and he just loved. What are some messages that you'd like to to say, Michael? To us? To your dear friends? What are some words you'd like to say? Thank you. I feel like this is for Brooke and to Brooke. Okay, these are for Brooke. It's very clear. This message is for us, but he's saying specifically this is for Brooke. I care about you, and I want you to take care of yourself. Focus on the positives. You know there are many to focus on. Michael's saying, hold me in your heart, not in your home. It's okay to declutter. And I feel like he's telling her to, you don't have to defend me here. I'm okay. I'm okay. They can't hurt me now. I know you're doing this because of my children, but I know you're also doing it for me. Let go of anything that you're holding on to about me that you feel guilty about, okay? Declutter that. Let go. I'm hearing also to his family. It's okay to let stuff go of mine. It's not mine anymore. Declutter it. Sell it. Let it benefit your life. It's not of any use to me anymore. Focus on the positives. You know there are many. I care about you, and I want you to take care of yourself. That goes to his children. That goes to Brooke. All of this does. His family. I'll get messages for us. This is for us, but these are specifically for family and Brooke. It's okay to sell that. It's okay to sell my stuff. It's okay. Don't hang on to it. I don't need it. It's not important. None of it is important. I know that. If you're hanging on to anything, any guilt, anything, let it go. It's okay. Let it go. Focus on the positives. With me, with you, your life. Focus on the positives. Take care of yourself. Thank you, Michael. So I'm going to talk about Lisa Marie. How did you feel about Lisa Marie? How did you feel about your relationship with Lisa Marie? I know that's something that came out on the boards that people are really wanting to know. Me, not so much, but about Lisa Marie. He thought she was a fox. He thought she was beautiful and sexy. He liked her sass. He liked her strength. He liked that he could be like a shield for her. Like she could kind of hide behind him a little bit, because she was also a kid who grew up in, I mean, I think he recognized in her that she was the daughter. He felt like a beast with her. I'm going to say that right now. He felt like Beauty and the Beast. He saw her as beautiful, just really beautiful, foxy, sexy. I mean, he just wanted to put her in a tower and keep her there, keep her protected. And I feel like she liked that about him, and he knew that he could be a shield for her. He could deflect attention from her and keep her safe. He liked her sharp tongue. He liked that she could maneuver through different situations, and she would bite at anyone who pissed her off. He liked that about her because he couldn't do that himself. He admired her beauty. He admired her royalty. But he also admired her strength that she had, because he did not have that. He was a beast. He's saying he was a beast without the strength. But he did love her. He admired her. He loved her, and he really was very, very attracted to her. And he wanted to keep her in a tower and protect her. But I'm also hearing that it was too much for her, and it was too much for him, because now she became a target. Just like in the beginning of the reading, anybody that he communicated with was a target. And my God, she married him. He's saying, yeah. She married the freak. The princess of royalty married the freak. And that brought on a target on her. So he had to distance, because anybody he had communication with was a target of irresponsible rumors, journalism, gold diggers, careless behavior, and being complacent and treating him like shit. They turned on her. This was their beloved princess of royalty, of the King of Rock. How dare she be with him? And it just became too much for her, too much for him. So he had to, they distanced themselves. Just like he had to distance himself from Brooke and only speak occasionally, because they both became targets. And ironically, he's saying, I loved both of their strength. They both were, he's saying both were foxy, and they both spoke their mind. They both still speak their mind, he says. And he loves that about them, because he never could. He never could. So he could never protect his princesses. He could never have that happily ever after, because they became targets. But he did. He felt like she was the beauty. He was the beast with no strength. But he loved communicating with them. He loved dining with them. He loved spending time with them, listening to them. Very much so. Is there anything you would like to say to Lisa Marie, just in case she ever sees this? What's something you would like to say in regards to this? I wish you love and happiness. Your happiness is not a betrayal of me. You wanting to leave, us departing, and your happiness is not a betrayal of me. I want you to be happy. I wish you love and happiness, and your happiness is not a betrayal of me. One more. One more. And I support your path. I support your path. Thank you, Michael. That was really beautiful. Sadly beautiful. I would like to know, Michael, what are some of your regrets in life? What are some of your regrets? You guys may hear my daughter in there singing. I do these readings really early before she wakes up, and if she wakes up, she just starts singing songs for about 30 minutes before she comes in. I was gonna tell her to stop, to quiet down for a minute, but Michael says no. He likes it. What are some regrets? What are some regrets? Wow. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Thriller. I love you, Michael. What are some regrets? Should I go with 4? I'm going to see if you want one more. If you want one more, then that's okay. 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 Well, my heart is racing when Thriller came out. I was like, oh. I love it. I'm going to put this on here too. Okay. I feel like he really regrets, I'm hearing, buying so many things to make him happy, to erase the pain, because, it seemed to lead to so much trouble and drama, and now it's just left behind. It really didn't mean anything. Now people are scavenging for what's left over. I feel like he's saying, I wish I would have just sold everything and lived a very modest life responsibly, like this, just a normal house with, normal things. And because now it's just a source of contention for my children. I should have just put money in the bank for my children instead of buying all these things. And I had so many things, I didn't get to enjoy everything because I just impulse bought. Sorry, there's a crow literally attacking my window, wanting to come in. Okay, so what I'm getting is he would impulse buy to medicate. It gave him a high, it made him feel good. But he didn't enjoy them. He enjoyed them for that moment and maybe passing by once in a while, but he had so many things, he didn't get to fully enjoy it. He said he should have been more responsible put the money in the bank and investing and things like that, but just had a modest, stable foundation because he didn't have it. Buying all that stuff and not putting up boundaries and not having the strength to take people out of his life or say no to certain situations, that created an unstable foundation for him. I also feel like, you know, that unstable foundation was not having that strength to say no to energy vampires, people that would mooch off of him, you know, drain, they wanted to be around him, and he knew that. He knew they were just so artificial, he said. People just wanted to stand next to him, and he's not talking about the fans. He wants me to really clearly state, this is not about fans. This is about people in the industry sucking me dry, only wanting to have a connection with me or stand beside me or work with me just because they wanted something from me. And they were draining. And he had to replenish that with things, material things. He also regrets Thriller. He regrets it because it was not in line with his beliefs. He had a hard time with it. He really had a hard time saying no to people about it. He did not want to do the actual video the way it portrayed itself. He had a different vision in mind. It was too dramatic. It was too scary, and he didn't want to frighten children with it. But he knew he had to do it this way so that it would appeal to the masses, for the industry. He regrets so much not having the strength to say no, not having the strength to step away, not having the strength to just sit back and wait and really look at things. How is this going to affect me? He was pushed so far. I'm getting his hair, when his hair caught on fire, the damage that did. And it was, you know, if he had just spoken up more, if he had just walked away from things that weren't good for him, if he would have been more responsible and commanded respect. Because it just made this unstable foundation. I feel like he was a nice person. I was a nice person, and people walked all over that. He was really uncomfortable with Thriller. Really uncomfortable. It was his song. He loved the song. He was not happy with the production. I feel like, and it's mainly because he didn't want to scare kids. He felt like this was against his belief system, and it was a struggle for him. It was against his belief system, and it was against, he didn't want to scare children. He knew there were a lot of children that loved him that would be very scared of this, and also parents who would find, you know, this offensive as well. This waiting this also goes to those impulsive things. He regrets he didn't just wait. He was just impulsive because it made him feel better. Self-medicating made him feel better. Not standing up for himself, not waiting and waiting things out. It was a lot of impulsivity in certain places where he had a lot of dependability and responsibility in certain areas, really crucial areas, like with money. And saying yes or caving in, he didn't have the strength for. He didn't have the strength with boundaries. Thank you, Michael. I want to know, personally, how did you endure the pain of this world for so long? I know I've endured some things that I thought were monumental, but yours is on a grand scale. How did you endure that? Like, I just don't even know how you would, but how did you endure that? How did you keep going? I mean, you were about to do This Is It. How did you keep going? How did you keep going? Just two more. How did you keep going, Michael? How did you keep going? I'm hearing Michael says, you know, he had hidden motivations. There's certain things that he's not going to tell me that kept him going forward. But he is revealing a little bit, and it's kids, his children, wanting to help children, wanting children to feel loved, wanting his children to have a legacy when he left, that he could take care of them and provide for them. But it was that inner child that kept him motivated. But he has some hidden motivations that he's not sharing with me. I'm sorry I have a lot of notifications coming up on my phone. I usually don't have that many. That's strange. But I'm sorry if you hear that. I feel like he had to ride the sails of with conflict. He just had to go with it. He knew he had a job to do. I'm hearing his father just instilled that in him. That no matter what. I feel like that he just had to go with the rough challenges. He had to set his sails, and he had to readjust, and he had to just go through it. Some of those motivations were actually from abuse and drilling into Michael that you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to keep going. I feel like what else kept him going through all of that, all of the pain, was just the love in his heart that he had for his fans. That's what kept him going. It was his belief in God, the Holy Spirit, that angels were around him, and the love and the gifts of the fans. They were the gift. They made him feel like he was basking in love. They were the closest thing, I'm hearing, closest thing to God were the fans, because of their love and the smiles and the laughter and the gifts and the energy that they shared that was all around them. He felt like he had to do this for the fans. It was his gift back to us. See all these little orbs of light? These are all the fans' energy. And he carried that with him. It helped him to shine. He said, without you, I wouldn't have shined. It made me feel loved. It made me feel connected to God. It was the closest thing to God that I could ever feel on this earth. My family, my friends, and my guides, the angels, spirit, my fans. They gave me the courage to go down that path, put on a show, put on my armor, get ready for battle every time. I did it for them, family, friends, and my fans, my beloved fans. I would travel for you. I enjoyed traveling to meet you, traveling with you. It helped me. It helped me see that balance again. That's the third time balance came up. It helped me to balance my pain and abuse and neglect, the craziness and attacks, and then love. It helped me to balance my life when there was a turbulent sea in a barren wasteland. This is what got me through. God, my angels, my amazing fans, my family and friends. This is what it was. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to ask, what was the purpose, Spirit, of Michael being on this planet? What was this soul contract about? What was this soul contract about, Spirit, for Michael? What was the purpose? I'm asking this for my own curiosity about Michael. Asking this for my own curiosity about Michael. You can tell me as well, Michael, because you know. You know now what the soul contract is. What was the meaning of being incarnated as Michael Jackson? What was the meaning of all of the shit that he went through? What was the meaning? What was the soul contract? One more. Okay. Michael was meant to experience emptiness, loneliness, and addiction. This is something that he was meant to experience. That was part of the soul contract. That was the reason why he was incarnated on the earth. It was something that he signed up for spirit. Because you're in that, you're pretty much a soul with a body experiencing life for spirit. And this was something that was meant to be experienced while this void and addiction and pain and emptiness, but also to be the shooting star, to literally become the shooting star. He really was. To step into his fullest potential as a star, which we know that Michael did, because Michael is the greatest of all time. There's no question. If you look on TikTok and see every TikTok dancer, the moves are Michael Jackson. The music lives, the energy lives. Michael is the greatest of all time. The greatest entertainer of all time. No one comes close. This is what Michael was meant to experience, but also, and it's all about that balancing. Reconciliation. I feel like Michael was meant to learn to love himself, learn to accept himself as is. Sometimes on the soul contracts, I'm trying to get my garbage truck to not be in the video. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this, I really feel like he was meant to reconcile and learn to accept the situation as it is, and love himself through it. Sometimes we do not get to fulfill these soul contracts. We're meant to experience, but sometimes things happen, decisions are made, and we do not get to fulfill that, so it carries over into the next life. And I feel like Michael's telling me that this was not fulfilled. These definitely were. But Michael's also saying it helped him to really appreciate his spirituality, that inner knowing. He did recognize in himself what needed to be done, but he just didn't have the strength to love himself. He wanted to. He saw it. He literally saw that. I know that I'm supposed to love myself. I know it. He knew, but he couldn't reconcile that. That was something that was unachieved in this lifetime. But he recognized it, and that's the first step. And it helped, that process helped Michael connect with his spiritual gifts and his connection to spirit, his connection to the divine. He really felt close to God, the maker, the creator. Michael's saying God. Michael felt like if he could spread the love he didn't receive and the attention that he didn't receive and giving back to his fans, that was his way of healing them and his way of healing himself. That 7-3 is 10. There's these infinite spiritual gifts of healing, and that was by being generous with people, especially children, generous with his time, generous with money, making sure to, I'm hearing, I don't know, he donated and did a lot of things for a lot of people that a lot of people don't know about. And he did it to help people because that helped him, and he wanted to pass that forward. He felt it was spiritually guided to help other people, to help other kids that did not have great life. He wanted to help every kid in the world, and I recognize this because I am the same way. I wish I could adopt every single child in the whole world and take care of them. From any child that doesn't feel loved, any child that is being abused, any child that's being neglected, any child living on the streets, whether they're little or young adult. I would love that. I just would love to take care of them, and that's exactly how he is. It was very hard on him when he saw like stage mothers, stage fathers, agent mothers, agent fathers were the way they were with kids, kind of pushing them on Michael, and he really wanted to make them feel love because he had been in that situation. He wanted them to have a childhood. He wanted his fans to feel the love. He wanted his fans to feel, energized and healed from his music and just get out there and dance. And this is what he was meant to experience. And he did. So I would like to get a message of, was it all worth it, Michael? All of this, was it all worth it? I'm being guided to this deck. Was it all worth it? 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 Yeah, it was all worth it. It's all worth it. Michael's saying, look, life is life. We're only here for a short time. No matter what you're going through, persevere. Keep going. Forgive and love yourself. Be gentle and kind with others. Protect the kids. Expand that love and nurturing behavior. This expansion is letting you know, Michael's saying, look, we're more than these bodies we have. We have petty arguments. We are so mean to each other. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Why not create magic with one another, give to one another, share with one another? Because we all end up going on the other side. We're all a part of this universe. We're all a part of this great universe. Every creature, everything is us, is energy. He's saying it's all worth it. Just be kind. Was it all worth it? Was it all worth it, Michael? Was it all worth it? Was it all worth it? Yes, it's all worth it. Release what's not good for you because he didn't get to in this life. Release what's not for your highest good. Release the anger. Release the petty fighting. Release the gossiping. Release the anger. Release that you're better than somebody. Release all of that. Expand your mind. You're a soul that has a body having a life experience. There's no reason to be hurting anybody. We're all one. This life depends on you. Be forgiving, be loving, protecting. Yes, this is all worth it. Keep persevering. It's all worth it because it's your life experience. What is no longer serving you or not for your highest good or not in a high vibration, let it go. Release it. Release the anger. Your life experience, and if what you go through, it all depends on you and your thoughts and how you perceive things, what you're speaking out of your mouth, the energy you're sharing with other people. Are you being kind and loving and protective? Or are you throwing daggers and gossip and anger and demands? Depends on you. But yes, for me, for Michael Jackson, it was worth it. Michael, can you give me some last words, please? Some words of love for everybody. Some words of love for everyone. I didn't do this one. Hang on. I'm going to get some messages from Michael. Word messages. One or two, Michael. Just some last final words. It was my time to go. When I left, it was my time. I went out the way I went out because it was my time. And I'm here. I'm helping you all. I'm with you in my songs. And for those of you that feel guilty about his passing or saying negative things or anything like that, it's not your fault. I had to leave that way. It was my time to go. It's not your fault. You have nothing to feel guilty about. I'm here helping you. My energy's here. My music's here. My inspiration, my dance. It's all here. I'm helping you. I'm here now in this reading. I'm helping you. I hope. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm at peace and I am flying. I'm soaring. My soul can be from one moment to the next, one place to the next. I'm here. I'm not dead. I live on. Don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid of life. Don't be afraid of what's coming. Because don't be afraid because the earth is our school. This is where we learn things and experience things. What is your experience going to be? What are you learning? I'm just a thought away. Just turn on my music. Just think about a memory with me. I'm just a thought away. I'm not gone. I'm not dead. I'm here. Don't be afraid. Give me a message of love, Michael. Ooh, it dropped right out. Appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love, no matter what. No matter what's going on. What are you growing? What are you growing? Appreciate it. Appreciate every little thing, every detail, every smell, every moment. Be in the present moment. Accept the present moment. Don't live in the past. Don't think your happiness depends on the future. Appreciate now. Every situation, everyone is an opportunity to grow. Don't be afraid. The earth is our school. What are some messages for your fans, Michael? What are some messages for your fans that love you so much? What are some messages for your fans? Role models. I have peacock feathers right here, 2 of them. Forget looking for earthly role models, because there aren't many. And even when we find them, they live their own lives and not ours. We must look instead inside of ourselves. Only you can be the brightest you. That goes back to what Michael said earlier about what would he have changed differently. He said that he would have loved himself and had the strength to walk away from things that didn't serve his highest good, that he would have put up boundaries and stuck to them. He wouldn't have let people abuse him anymore or harm him or let him think it was okay to do it. That he would have loved himself first and cherished his life and his present moment. That he was enough. That he didn't need to live up to a standard that his father set before him. That he didn't have to be a role model. Michael's like, don't look to people to be a role model. You be that role model. Michael doesn't want you to look to him to be a role model. An inspiration or a muse, yes, Michael says. But I didn't live your life. You live your life. You live your life. Appreciate this moment. Don't let other people, sports role models, any kind of role models that you look up to, don't try to be like them. You love you. You do you. What speaks to you? What do you love about you? And know that you are perfect and good enough as you are. Michael, can you give me a message for... This was for the fans. For those who love you, your loved ones, friends, family. Prayer. The highest level of prayer is not a prayer for anything. It is a deep and profound silence in which we allow ourselves to be still and know Him. In that silence, our hearts and minds are illumined. Spirit just says, if you want to communicate with Him, He's just a prayer away. Remember? I'm not dead. I'm just a thought away. I'm just a prayer away. You can connect with me through prayer. I'm here. I'm not dead. My soul can be wherever it wants to be. Connect with God. Connect with Spirit. Prayer is important. That's how we all connect. I'm going to get one last message. Oh, actually, it's 2 messages. Actually, before we close out with those last 2 messages, can you tell me, Spirit and Michael, what did Michael surrender as Michael Jackson? What did Michael have to surrender in life as Michael Jackson? When Michael passed, Michael surrendered the habit of people-pleasing. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. And this, Michael says, was surrendered the day he died. Because he was a people pleaser. He didn't speak the needs that he truly had. He didn't focus on his own happiness 100%. And he did and lived his life trying to make others happy before him, including his parents. And that stopped and was surrendered the day he passed away. Thank you, Michael. Can you give me a message for the people that harmed you? That still, I'm going to call them the haters. Give me a message for your haters. Give me a message for them from you. And the people that accused you, lied about you, called you names, treated you less than, abused you. I love myself and others unconditionally and nurture loving relationships. Michael says, love yourself unconditionally, and it starts with you. If you have unconditional love of yourself, which Michael has been saying through this whole entire reading, Michael didn't have that. Michael did not love himself unconditionally. And it took everything he had to nurture any relationship that he had. And none of them were truly and deep relationships, because he knew, he felt that they would always attack him. It would always go wrong, or somebody would be a target, the ones he loved. So he could never develop this in this lifetime. So he says, for all of you that hate him and have caused him pain, abused him, lied about him, made fun of him, mocked him, called him a freak, wacko jacko, and other things, to love yourself unconditionally and nurture loving relationships. And it starts with you. If you love yourself first, it radiates. And that's true unconditional love of yourself. The pain will go away. He wishes that for you. He wants that for you. That 1 in 7 is 8, that infinite love for yourself. That way you radiate it truly to others. That way you don't have superficial relationships, or low vibrational energy relationships, or toxic relationships. Because if you love yourself unconditionally, you cannot be toxic, and you won't spread toxicity. And that goes for the media as well. Now, one last message, Michael. Could you give me an energy that I should embrace in my life going forward? What's an energy that I should embrace going forward in my life, Michael? Thank you. She who hopes, Renee. He said this is like Diana Ross. She who hopes. Love, hope in relationships. He's telling me to not lose my faith and hope in relationships. To keep it going. To keep that spark. To be my queen. To love myself unconditionally. And to never lose hope in true relationships. And it starts with me looking at my own reflection. Thank you, Michael. I hope this reading helped you gain some insight, for those of you who love Michael, and for those of you who didn't but are curiously here. I thank you so much, Michael, for speaking with me today so openly. And I thank you, Spirit, for allowing this to happen. And I will treasure it always. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time. Namaste.